Hey guys, what's up? It's Chris again. You will, if you know me, you will not be surprised to see me streaming Jeskai Control. It is my absolute favourite deck. It's not in a great place right now, but it's picking up a little bit, which is encouraging enough that I want to give it a go. So I'm going to play a couple of leagues with it, see how it goes, because there's GP Birmingham around the corner. I still haven't locked a deck in, and if I can play Jeskai, I will, because it's my comfort zone. So I feel like I'll make less mistakes. And over like a 9-round event, or rather 9-round day, being able to autopilot a little bit is valuable. It means you can save your mental energy, basically. So a few differences from the past versions of Jeskai I've played. I've gone up to 3 Field of Ruins and down to 2 Colonnades. I've added a second basic plains. Other than that, the mana base is fairly consistent with what it used to be. I've seen people playing no Sacred Foundries. I've seen people playing all sorts of different stuff. I've even seen one copy of Gaia Reach Sanitarium, which combos with Narset in a really sort of techie kind of cute way. Trying not to do anything too fancy with that. So decided I didn't want to do that. I've gone for Opts over Serum Visions and Hieroglyphic Illuminations. Debatable which of those options is best. I've still got 4 Snapcaster Mage. They're the only creatures in the deck, but I've got a lot more Planeswalkers than before. I've got 2 Narsets, 1 Teferi, 1 Ashiok, 1 Jace, and 2 Big Teferi. Not sure this is the right balance. This is one of the things I'm going to test during these runs of videos, figure out if I'm happy with that or not. 0 Lightning Bolts is a bit of an unusual one for those who've played a lot of Jeskai historically, but generally 0 Lightning Bolts is popular these days amongst the better Jeskai players who I turn to for lists. I'm not one of them. So this list is mostly based off of a mixture of Benjamin Nikolic and Jonathan Sukenik, who are both much better at Jeskai than me, and at Magic, to be fair. Yeah, the Ashiok is a nice hedge against graveyards, which also happens to hate on things like Scapeshift and Tron. Really looking forward to seeing how that works out. The Force of Negations is a key new card, being able to fight over basically busted stuff is appealing. The sideboard is potentially incorrect. I'm not sure if I need a 3rd Rest in Peace, but I'm hoping 2 Rest in Peace plus 2 Ashiok is enough graveyard hate. 3 Purges for Phoenixes, for Hogaaks, for Aria of Flames, Blood Moons, Lilianas, you name it. Ren and 6. It's got a ton of good targets at the moment. If you get additional counter spells, engineered explosives, sort of typical stuff. Haven't really changed the sideboard too much compared to where I used to be. Not sure if the big angels are as good now as they were in the past, but I thought they're properly excellent against Eldrazi Tron, which is currently one of the biggest decks, so that's why they're there. So I'm going to give it a go anyway. I'm going to give it a go. Let's see how we get on. Right. This opening hand is absolutely fine. It is pretty much as you would like. I would like an extra land, but hopefully Opt will get me there. Let's see what we're up against. Tron, okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep Veto up on my turn 2, their turn 3. Hopefully we can hit a... it's a great draw. Hopefully we can hit a worm, not a worm coil. That's the one thing we can't hit. Hopefully we can hit a Karn, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see which version of Tron we're up against. Too early to say still. Get Hallowed Fountain. Yep. Opt. I think that's good. I'm happy with that. Obviously, we do need to draw land number 4 for it to be castable, but still. I'm going to just pass a turn. Next turn, we've got Snap Opt available as well, which is good, or Little Teferi. If they play a Wormcoil engine, for example, bouncing a Wormcoil with Little Teferi seems appealing. This is bizarre. They didn't crack their map on my end step, and I'm really confused. Really confused. That seems like loose play from them. That, or it's like on such a high level, I just don't understand. All is dust. Okay, that's not too scary. Sure, you got it. Maybe they just sniffed out a counterspell. Either way, they can keep sniffing. I'm not putting them down, so sniff away, friend. Now they've remembered to map. Maybe they just forgot. I honestly think they just forgot. Well, they've got 8 mana available this turn, which is Ugin, which is the scariest possible one. Yep, you can have another map. They might be doing this because the map... Well, no, map isn't mana neutral if you've already made your land drop this turn. Okay. I'm a bit confused. They must have a really weird draw, or they just are new to Tron or something. So I'm going to respond because they're down to 3 mana. That's nothing too scary. I'm going to respond with Snapcaster Mage Opt while the relic is on the stack, because I want to just make sure I get to use my Opt. Sorry. Yeah. Let's do it. That is not what I'm looking for. Helix is a decent one. Lets me apply some pressure. Okay, yeah. Yep, this has all gone alright so far. I'm amazed. The world isn't usually this kind to me. Tron certainly isn't. Well, we've got about 9 turns to try and kill him. Yep. I'm just going to pop my graveyard out so I can see. You got me, opponent. Wormcoil will... Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wormcoil won't resolve. Can't do anything else scary this turn. I guess maybe Thought Not Seer if that's in the main deck, which I doubt. The reason for using Cryptic then, A, obviously it was the only counter I could use, but also B, most of their threats are non-creatures. So if they go for something like Force of Negate, if they go for something like a Karn, I can Force of Negation it and cast Helix in the same turn, and that gives it that. Once that's in the graveyard, I can snap it back and start pressuring them and stuff. Sorry, just replying to a message from a friend there, fellow Magic player. Yep, you got it. Well, they've got 13 mana, so they should be able to do something pretty good with all the cards they have in hand. I'm assuming this is a Wormcoil. I can't. Veto. Yep. Get this helix out of my hand. Start clocking them. Field is great. Unfortunately, they don't have surplus of every Tron land, so I'm going to pop this now on their mine. Try to really limit their mana. So that puts them back down to 6 mana next turn, unless they have either a mine in hand or a way to get a mine. I wouldn't rule it out. These decks are amazingly redundant and amazingly good at assembling and then maintaining Tron. That's literally... they've got it down to an art. Oh, Stone, eh? What's Teferi's? Can bounce artifacts. I'm going to Snapcaster Mage. With the idea being that I'm threatening to veto it. They're going to pop the relic in response, which is expected. And then the O-Stone will resolve. I can bounce it with Tethers and have Force of Negation up to hit it on the way back down. And feel fairly safe, basically. That's another turn off the clock. That's fantastic. What a good draw. I would love to hit a land. We didn't, but another counterspell is perfect. Logic Knot is bad at this exact moment because we don't have a graveyard, but that will come. I'll get a Force of Negation in the graveyard in a minute when they try and recast the O-Stone, assuming that's what they do. I've got also... yes, that's a land drop for the turn, so I know they're not reassembling Tron. Oh, hello. All is dust, okay. Just going to cast this the regular way. Begin sideboarding. Yeah, opponent sees the writing on the wall. So I'm going to bring in another Ashiok and 2 Ceremonious Rejections. And going to cut the burn and the verdicts. I'm wondering, I think I'm going to bring in the vetoes as well. This looks good. Very lean. Hardly any red though. So I can basically fetch. Don't like that. Bit better. Not great though. I might need Narset. Oh, this is ropey, man. On the draw as well. If they have a good draw, we're dead in the water. They have a good draw, assuming their hand contains one of the Tron piece. It doesn't always, but it feels like it usually does. Okay. Definitely not favourites this game, with the way it's gone. The mulligan, them having a good start, etc. Yep. Okay. Get something like a veto? No, we can't. Okay. Yep, they remembered this time, so I wonder if they know they didn't do that in game 1. Like, I wonder if they recall that cock up. Or maybe, like I said at the time, maybe it was deliberate. If this is a worm coil, we'll be alright. Oh! Sweet relief! Anything that's not a Khan. Because obviously next turn I'm going to cast Narset and I'm going to dig for a force. And if I get a force then I'm like semi-okay. So their revealed card, yeah, is a forest. Yep, you got me. That one. Let's pop the graveyards out again. Yeah, O-Stone doesn't bother me too much. So we're by no means out of it. We could still lose this game very easily. But their start isn't as frightening as it could be. Tethers is nice. Not as nice as Force would have been. And I fear like if they just go Tower, Ulamog, that's going to be Scoop City. Oh, they've gone for the Forest, so... Ugin? Thragtusk. Fine. Good with that. The annoying thing is it's not a dies trigger, it's a leaves the battlefield trigger. So if you for example path it, it's not like other creatures, like if you path a Kitchen Finks for example, it doesn't come back. The Thragtusk still makes the token. Ooh, spoilt for choice. Oh, this is tough, you know? Because Ashiok is really good against Tron. And they haven't had anything better than Thragtusk the previous turn, so I have no reason to believe they will this turn. I'm going to path Thragtusk, I'm going to bounce the Thragtusk token with my Teferi, and I'm going to basically count on them using their turn on popping O-Stone, which is probably not right, but you know, you got me, friend. Cool. Okay. They've got 9 mana, but like I said, they've been doing nothing. Like the best they could manage last turn was a Thragtusk. The best they can manage this time is a Thragtusk. Okay. Decent. Okay. My plan is to keep Teferi alive long enough to bounce the O-Stone or force them to pop it. So a fate counter means only that it won't get destroyed by O-Stone. It doesn't mean anything else. So I can still path it when they try to attack me. They've drawn a Ghost Quarter, which doesn't scare me. I assume they attack Teferi. Yep, that thing's gone. Yep. So I'm going to respond. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm going to fetch. Yep, this is fine. And I'm just going to exile the Flooded Strand. I'm trying to... Yeah, perfect. So I got them to blow the Relic, which was nice. And they've blown the O-Stone too. I think I'm okay with that. I had no more Nasa activations, so they basically traded it for Teferi. Yeah. That's fine. Yep. think I'm going to play 2 Planeswalkers. I'm going to Narset first, because if I hit something like Force of Negation or Dovin's Veto, I won't play the Ashiok. Big Tethys is nice. And then I'm going to play the Ashiok as well. If you're wondering why I didn't field that turn, it's because their Tron isn't a high percentage of their overall mana anymore. So cutting them off Tron isn't going to make that much difference, whereas developing my own threats, I think, is a big deal. Okay, you got me, opponent. I will search. Yep. I wonder when they're going to start cycling through their stars. Veto's perfect. Ah, good. They also agreed that Veto was perfect and didn't want to play against it. So there we go. That went great. We drew broadly what we wanted when we wanted. The start of game 2 looked sketchy, but opponent's draw was so crap they didn't really pressure us. I don't think that beats an average Tron draw. I think game 1 we do. I think game 1 went really well. Game 2 was basically lucky because they didn't put up a fight, and you know, Magic's easy when you're uncontested, broadly. Yeah, I'm really hoping this league goes well. I would love to win 3+ matches so that I can have a little bit of confidence going into GP Birmingham that the deck is well placed and everything. If Tron continues to be everywhere, then I feel good about this build. This is a nice opener. We've got access to some removal and some counter magic. This looks like a creature-based deck. You hardly ever get Windswept Heath in a control deck. Bant, what would Bant be? Infect, okay. Well, the good news is that the Helix is great against them. The bad news is that we don't have any 1-mana interaction. So we're kind of cold to something like a... what am I trying to say? We're kind of cold to something like a scale-up turn 2 kill on the play. It's one of the things you lose on by going to cutting the bolts. Sorry, I'm being a bit incoherent, but yeah, one of the things you lose out by not having the bolts is that you're not as good against Infect. The Infect matchup used to be brilliant for Jeskai, whereas now I suspect it's probably okay. Okay, I'm going to fetch Hallowed Fountain. Okay. I'm going to pass, and the key to playing against Infect is not to pick a fight during their turn before damage, basically. That's all you need to know. So you can allow them, like, I'm not going to do anything if they just want to hit for 2, which it looks like they're content with. And I'm going to try and pick a fight at the end of the turn. Just trade Helix for a removal spell. They will, not a removal spell, sorry, a pump spell. They'll probably have a way to save it, like a Vines or a Blossoming Fet. Okay, they didn't. Maybe they just decided, you know what, we've got plenty, we're safe. Which I wouldn't blame them for. So my only option for the time being is just to basically cast 1 counter spell per turn, and I'm going to try and opt into some more removal. So they're okay. That's fine. They're not activating Nexus, which says they've got something else to do with the mana, be it protection or otherwise. Okay. But yeah, basically you can go up to 5 Infect without panicking, and then you can't go beyond. So you can go up to about 9 Infect, in fact, without panicking. Path's great here. I'm going to path that. They might only have one basic. They usually, I think, have at least two, but they might only have one. You never know. But yeah, being able to fight on their end step is glorious. Field of Ruin would be an amazing draw. A Snapcaster Mage would be amazing. Feel better to be lucky than good. I'm going to hit that now. Okay, perfect. We've got Veto up. I'm wondering whether I was better to get. Oh, actually, I was certainly better to get Basic Island and have access to Logic Nut as well. That was bad play on my part. I don't know what I was. Well, I was thinking Supreme Verdict, but I already have white sources in my hand, so that's just bad magic. If they hit for regular damage with the Arbor, I'm a happy bunny. I've no idea what's in their hand. Genuinely no idea. Like, almost every card I can think of in an Infect deck would be relevant, except for maybe Scale Up or Mook. They're punished for my miss. Okay, just more creatures. Maybe that's why they're not fighting. Maybe they just don't care. Obviously, I would murder for a Supreme Verdict right now. That is the next best thing. Fuck me, is that a good draw? That is very, very lucky. I don't deserve that. Okay. Should be hard to lose from here. But I did not deserve that. Fucking hell. Oh. Anyway. I'll take two. Happily. There's not a high likelihood they've got more threats in hand, but you never know. Ah, that's an unusual inclusion. They obviously just value getting ahead on mana in the way that... But no, when I played Infect, I always felt the biggest benefit of Noble Hierarch was not the mana, it was the Exalted. Well, no, it's not the biggest. They're equally important in the deck, and Birds doesn't have half of that, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think we're sitting pretty. I've obviously luck sacked my way to another removal spell because I'm just lucky. They definitely don't have any more basics because they didn't search for one off the Field of Ruin, which means when I path this Dryad Arbor... Do I? I'm not even sure if I do. I'm going to keep taking some damage. I don't care about it. I'd rather save the path for a thing that's actually scary. I'd love a Planeswalker. That's a good draw. Yeah. Oh, it's non-land. Okay, we'll just hit the Noble then. Yeah, I always forget that you can't de-sphere a Dryad Arbor, even though it's a creature. Oh, hang on, I didn't mean to. Nearly F6 then. With a fistful of counter spells, that wouldn't be very good. What was that? They've cast Scale Up. Oh, this is excellent. This is the type of thing that can yield, lead to... That thing better not be hexproof. What happened? Oh! I must have F6'd by mistake. That's so frustrating. Another example of me not knowing how to use Magic online. That was really irritating. Okay. That was so frustrating. I had that game. I had the I had the cards in my hand. Keep good hand. Oh, that's frustrating. Anyway, time to regather my thoughts. Make sure I'm not playing terribly this game. It should be a good enough matchup that I can win having blown a game, basically. I suspect it's a bit worse than like in the old days when it was like 80%, but it should still be good. Yep. So we are going to opt looking for lands. I still don't understand what happened in the previous game. I thought I'd deselected yield so that I could interact, but clearly not. Just want lands. Okay, it's a good draw. I will pay, and I will kill this. Okay, so Blighted Agent, yep. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to try and path it after combat on their turn, I think. I don't see any benefit to getting into a fight earlier than that. In fact, if they don't do anything else, it's almost worth holding on and trying to get some value out of the Supreme Verdict. Take 2, I assume. I wonder what they're doing. If I get... Nah, they can't have any... I was going to say if I get Shadow of Doubted, I'll hit the roof, but I don't think they could possibly, because they've only got single blue. That's an absolute banger. We've got Path Up as well. Because I could have achieved the same result with Supreme Verdict, but having Path Up makes me feel so much safer. Okay. Well, I think I'm one of many people that thinks Veil of Summer is an appalling and over-the-top card design. It's both good and stupid. They should respond to the trigger by Pendelhavening. They do, okay. I will not fight. Yep. Basic Forest. Just going to pass. Having Cryptic is good. So what's the verdict on Veil of Summer? Spells you control can't be countered. You and permanents you control gain hexproof. Okay. Well, the good news is, the way Cryptic Command is worded, a Cryptic Command doesn't target even in tap mode. So I'm going to go for tap draw. That way I definitely can't lose. Big Tethers is good, but not really. It's a good card, but I don't think it's good here. Dryad Arbor. Okay. Would love a Field of Ruin. Not quite. I don't think it's quite right to pop Verdict yet. I think I'm going to go for basically the same turn as last turn. Basically just maximum safety, can't lose the game, and that's a good draw. Can let me make use of my mana this turn. Yeah, I'll top that. That way I can cast Verdict this turn and keep up Veto. Okay. So if they go for like a big turn, I can interact once at least. I don't feel great about my position though. I like that they appear to be flooding. Yep. Well, they're going to know I'm out of interaction after this. And if they have a Veil of Summer, I'm in trouble. They could also have something like a second pump spell, of course, which would kill me. Yeah. What's annoying about that, I don't mind losing game 2, but I'm very pissed off about how I lost game 1, and it's just because I'm new to the client. I keep making mistakes. There are other videos where I've made similar mistakes, although none quite as glaring as that. Like, dying with 3 relevant pieces of interaction in hand and the mana to cast all of them is a bit embarrassing. And obviously we probably then win game 3 because we'd be on the play in a good matchup. Yay. Cool. I would love to play first. I would love to keep this very good hand. Opponent seems to have quite a tough mulligan decision. Obviously, we're just going to lead on Tarn, fetch a Hallowed Fountain tapped, I guess. And obviously, then we've got access to Logic Knot next turn. There aren't many creatures I would path on turn 1, but probably a Goblin Guide out of Burn is one of them. Okay. Let's see what my top card is. Perfect. Unfortunately, I have to get Hallowed Fountain. But getting rid of the Goblin Guide is good. It's a bit irritating because it makes my Logic Knot worse, and it makes like Burn often keeps 1 and 2 landers, and potentially giving them the perfect amount of mana when they've already got maybe a spell dense hand could be dangerous, but such is life. At least this way I can Logic Knot an Eidolon if they go for one. We are looking a little bit dead. We've got a few too many lands. Okay, so they did have at least a second land. That's fine. I am swifted. And when I say it's fine, what I'm actually... the translation of that is, I can't counter it, mate. So, it's not particularly fine. Okay, counter that. Blue, blue, 1, 2, done. Removal? Nice. I'm going to do it now. It's a bit annoying not being able to get the Celestial Colonnade out of the way, but I had to do it at a time when they couldn't cast two spells to trigger Prowess twice and grow it to 4 toughness. Next turn we're just going to go Island and keep up Cryptic, and then, yep, you got me, opponent. Oh, this must be the one that needs, what's it called? That Spectacle. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, well we're all right. We're all right. They've got 1 card in hand. So I will counter almost anything because their hand is so limited. They can't have that much going on. In the burn seat in this position, the correct thing to do usually is to sandbag and go for a big turn. So I suspect they will do just that. Or maybe they'll just fire one off on my end step now. I think it's better for them to sandbag stuff. Sure. Counter that. I'd kill for a Snapcaster Mage, honestly. That'd be a Boros Charm, I assume. Or a Helix, okay. Oh! Hello, young man. Aren't you nice? That was a bad land drop. I should have played the field because I could cut them on white. And their deck contains 8 white cards and 0 basic planes. Helix. Helix you. May I untap? Wow, nice. Well, now I'm going to do it. Cut them on white. Make me the heavy favourite from here. This is great. This also feels a lot like 2016 or whatever. This doesn't feel like present day. That's got to be a Searing Blaze. I've kind of telegraphed having a path in my hand by leaving up the basic, which is probably bad. Decided to fight there because I wanted to what am I trying to say? I wanted to maintain a clock, because if the game goes on indefinitely I can't always have more counter spells than they've got stuff. So I've just tried to lower my curve a little bit, with the exception of the big angels, and the big angels are like, they're mustard in this matchup. They're so good. Yeah, slightly better. Okay, this hand is badish. We're probably going to be casting Snapcaster Mage in Doomblade mode, which is not where you want to be. Hopefully this will draw me a land. Nope. But that is a good card. So the reason you never ever path the guides, or well, remove them any time before they've been declared as an attacker, is you always want their trigger to give you a maximum chance of a free land. And Burn doesn't have too many tricksy ways to protect them like some decks do. Okay. So hopefully we'll get a land. If not, we're in a bit of bother. Perfect. I'm going to path the Swift Spear, which might seem weird because it's not the more damaging of the two, but I can guarantee that if I get to block a Snapcaster Mage on a Goblin Guide, it kills it, whereas Swift Spear it doesn't necessarily, because they can make it 3 toughness quite readily. Sure, let's go. We've got no reason to fetch anything other than Basic Island based on our hand. Okay, I'm going to take 3. In fact, it was definitely the right way to path, because I forgot that they would have already had 1 prowess trigger, so I am retrospectively pleased with past self. That was good. Playing correctly. Okay, we're going to just respond with a naked Snapcaster as a blocker. For some reason they're not allowing me to. I don't know what that's about. We're doing it now because even though they know about it and therefore they can kill it, if they're using Burn on it, they're not using Burn on me, and I do not want to trigger the Eidolon if I can help it. On what they're doing. They seem to be responding to their own Eidolon now, which... Okay, that's fine. Like I said, at least they're not using Burn on me. I don't necessarily think I'm winning this game, though. They're down to 1 card in hand, though, so it's not all bad. Take 2. Okay. I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to Snapcaster before blocks. Try to trade with the Eidolon, and then, even though it will have already damaged me this turn, try to path the Goblin Guide at the end of their turn. Oh, let's do this. I'm going to have a very low life total after this. They've got the canyon as well to draw. I'm quite close to being dead. Actually, pathing now versus pathing after damage is exactly the same. Bolt is at the snap. Okay. So my outs are slim. I don't think I have any outs. This is the short version. Cool. Well, that's the game we're supposed to lose. Not changing sideboarding. I like the sideboarding. I like the configuration, I should say. Yes, I love this hand. This hand is great. I've got a Doomblade in a pinch. I've got a Timely Reinforcements, and if I don't have to use this as a Doomblade, I can use Timely twice, and that would be lovely. Might have been incorrect to lead on Colonnade. I might have been better served actually damaging myself to make sure I get full value off of the Timely. We'll see. Okay. What, you were going to reveal a Plains? Well, that's a free card. You shouldn't have done that, sir. So I'm playing that because Doomblade mode Snapcaster Mage is a very real option. And yeah, I'm not above wasting Snapcaster Mages, put it that way. I think a lot of people would consider that sacrilegious, but I think they're wrong. I would love for them to tap their mana before combat, which they're not doing. Okay. What's the reveal? Another freebie, this is great. I mean, I'd rather just be having spells, but the less lands in my deck, the less chance of me drawing them. Okay. They shouldn't have Searing Blaze in their deck after sideboard because I only have 4 targets for it, so the only way... Look, I don't get really blown out by anything. They're letting me block, which implies that they're not going to kill it. Okay, good. I'm just going to plus. They have to respond if they're going to cast a Boros Charm or something. Yep, that's fine. The nice thing here is that I can timely during like beginning of combat or whatever really throw spanners in said works and be as difficult as possible. Fine with that. That makes me get soldier tokens. Play that tapped. Okay. Oh, if I get skull cracked, I'm going to be livid. Okay, that's fine. All at me. I bet I get skull cracked. That's my own fault. Should have done it on my turn. Got too fancy. Ah, no, fuck me. Maybe opponent has a Searing Blaze now or something. I don't know why. They've made 2 mana, so... Okay, they decided that they weren't... Oh! They can't because of Tefers. Ha! 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 I understand my own cards. I'm not bad at Magic at all. I would have probably got caught out by that in paper. Fucking hell. That's embarrassing, isn't it? Oh, when you don't understand why you're winning. Ooh. Okay, well, come on. Shape up, Chris. You've blown 1 round, nearly blew another, and we're still somehow 2-1. So, Viva Jeskai. Viva playing against a metagame from 2016. Literally, Burn, Infect, and Tron. It's like we've gone back in time. Now all we need is Valakut and old Abzan Company value stuff. And then it'd be like living the dream. Yes, we'll keep winning die rolls as well, which is rather handy. We've got another decent hand. Playing against the moon, which is very scary. Flooded Strand Go is my favourite turn 1 in all of Magic in any format, I think. Ooh! Blue Mirror. Lovely. I like these. Little Tefers is going to be good, isn't he? What a nice lad. Narset's going to be good, isn't she? If they want to opt, they can opt. I'm not countering anything. Not that I can, but they don't know that. So. I assume... Oh, I was going to say I assume Grixis Shadow, but... Could be Esper Control. Could be... Grixis Control. Could be... There's not really any popular Sultai decks. It's probably Esper Control, which makes my current hand pretty fucking amazing. If they don't have Spell Pierce or Force of Negation, we're going to make their life very hard. They've got Spell Pierce. Oh, they've got Opt, okay. They're just doing it now while they can. Probably digging for a Force. They might force it, but if they don't, then we're golden. Okay, cool. Next turn we're going to go for Narset, and then we're going to be fairly far ahead. Sorry, I was looking at my phone like an idiot. Yep. Perfect. Okay, we are now being as annoying as possible. The only way we could be more annoying would be if we got the Ashiok out as well. Or Big Teffers, I guess. I'm just going to see where they attack. But I'm almost certainly pathing it. Oh yeah, no, it's getting pathed. They have a million cards in their hand, but we're making most of them bad. I swear, if we draw a land this turn and we get Big Teferi down as well, that would certainly, if I were in their seat, that would make me scoop. So yeah, we're basically having a suboptimal, worse versions of blue-white mirror. I would argue that I have my reasons for playing this deck, but most people wouldn't. I wonder if they're deciding whether to go to discard or not. It would mean they're taking their whole turn off, of course. Okay. Not quite. Not quite what we wanted, but it's still a very good draw in this matchup. We can safely take our Planeswalkers to low loyalty totals against Esper because unlike... I'm going to try and hit a land. I was going to say, unlike Jeskai, they can't bolt them. Perfect. They can't do anything on my turn, which is handy. If they... they just remembered they can't do stuff. I think their hand contains a Snapcaster Mage. I think they were going to run one out naked to start attacking. If they activate Colonnade... Yeah, this is going to be great. I love Stone Raining people. It's the best. Okay, well, this should win the game, basically, because we've got... Oh! Because we've got the veto as well, I'd pack it in. Yeah, they agree. Woohoo! So clever, so good at magic. Didn't just get lucky. Threats, stuff. Maybe that. Go away. I'm going to keep like one path in for Colonnade. I'm going to keep one verdict in for emergencies. One path. I may regret it if they're going into like a mentor plan or whatever, but I've got the explosives. His hand is nice. Okay, they've kept 7 as well. Thoughtseize? Go for it. If I'm in their position, I'm either taking Opt or Cryptic. Might be... Yeah, they take the most powerful spell. I would say it might be correct to take Opt because then I've got fuck all going on. For a few turns at least, but who am I to question their decision making? There is 16, that's only 8 electrolyzers. Gonna get me a Steam Vents. Yep. Do some opting. Got some lands already. Perfect. Really happy with flooding. Come on. Well, to be fair, if there's a matchup where you can afford to flood, it's a control mirror, right? You normally get away with it. That's a nice one. If they go for a planeswalker, we're protected now. Depending on which planeswalker they go for, I assume we'll most likely be using veto. They might not, of course, have a planeswalker. I'm not sure exactly on Esper lists. I haven't studied them like I have Blue, White and Jeskai. Just gonna get this guy tapped. Okay. And I'm at the point now where I'll probably cast an Electrolyze just to cycle it. I was going to say I'd be amazed if they counter that. That's a really like innocuous little spell from my point of view. I think that's worth. I think because they've got so little ways of dealing damage. I think the ability to fake having Cryptic Command justifies the 2 points of life. The only way I could use four mana this turn is if I use Electrolyze and Path, and that combination is I can't see that coming up in a million years. I assume they're deciding which land to Field of Ruin, or whether it's worth using one on something that isn't a colonnade. They seem to have decided that it is. I'm going to do that thing where I pretend I'm playing tight. Actually, this is quite good, because this lets me pop this Electrolyze off and keep Veto up. Another land, that's a bit of a pisser. Still got Veto. Veto's got to be one of the best possible cards in this matchup. I'm happy with Ashiok. Lets me apply some pressure. They got a veto of their own, yeah. Okay. They're going to blow up my Sacred Foundry. Oh, they're going to cut me off blue during their turn. That's very clever. That was a mistake on my part. And one that could cost me the game. They just slam Teferi or something. Big Teferi, I'm in hell. Or Little Teferi. Both would be amazing. Hopefully they just can't punish me. Oh, hallelujah. We escaped. I was lucky. I didn't deserve that. Anyway. No, we ripped the D-Sphere anyway, so we would have been insulated against the Planeswalker as well. That's the mad thing. Would have got away with it in a number of ways, but, you know. We were so unlucky earlier against that stupid defeat to Infect that could argue we just deserve it. Oh, these bastards with their fucking... Who the fuck would play a blue control deck in 2019? I've drawn both my 2 parts I left in for colonnades, and they've drawn 0 colonnades as well. Oh, that's a nice one. So we're not getting anywhere, but we're very safe. Basically. What are they going to do? They're fielding me again. Esper Charm, draw 2. got it, friend. Or you don't got it, I should say. Can't be having them pulling ahead, can we? Not when my hand is mostly shite. Got any shocks to fetch? I can't remember. We got one steam vents apparently. Perfect. I'll fight over this. Esper Charm. Maybe they're going to make me discard 2 or draw 2 themselves or something. Can't remember what the third mode of Esper Charm is. Kaya's Guile. You have got it, friend. Yes, mostly lands. Cool. I'm happy for Ashiok to take 1 hit. My plan is not to mill them out. My plan is to beat them to death. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm just going to leave Ashiok there as an inconvenience, basically. Discourage them from using their Field of Ruin and stuff. If their turn involves activating the tar pit, I will path it. That's amazing, because Path is a shit card in this matchup and Veto is a great one, so to trade a Path for a Veto, I am a happy boy. Yeah, that's good. That's a good exchange. I reckon this game will come down to whoever draws a proper Planeswalker first. I don't really count Ashiok because he's not really... or she, I don't know what gender Ashiok is. Or they. Ashiok's not a very strong Planeswalker, but a bit frustrating to have drawn that then. I'm going to use nothing. I'm just going to pass. I'm going to try and get them to use the field their own so they don't get their land. Cut them on black. They're not going to get to search off of the one that belonged to them because of Ashiok. I've got no lands left to search for. Basically, we've all got fuck all, which is fine. It's fine when it's equal. I just don't want to end up in a position where, you know, they're pulling super far ahead. Oh, that's a lot of mana. Yeah, I'll sacrifice a creature. Well, my D-Sphere is, like, it's going to do something because I can hit both of these. Which is, like, slightly useful. I don't think Kaya's Guile is good enough to justify using black for Esper, which seems to be what most people are doing. Okay, Yeah, we've all got shit cards in our hands, basically. That's what I've learned here. Nobody's got anything good going on. Okay, good. Cool. My Ashioka's almost dead. Hello. That's a good magic card. Please resolve, please resolve, please resolve, please resolve, please resolve. Boom. Okay. Dispel makes me feel safe, but I would love to have something else to do that's better. I'm glad I can shuffle. I'm glad I can shuffle. It probably was correct to keep the Field of Ruin. I didn't because I've got no basics, but then I've got no fetchable lands either, so... Still going after Ashiok. I'm going to allow that because I've got a different Planeswalker that I'm a bit more invested in. I think I've got 0 searchable targets. Yep. Still fetch then because obviously I want to shuffle away the trash. That's amazing. Okay, we're going to win. Basically, this is a short version of this. Life is good. Yay! Opponent knew! They saw the writing on the wall! Woof, woof, woof. So we've got one more game, and that's it for this league. I've got a positive result, which is all I really care about, because it's the first draft of Jeskai. I'm not sure the list is right. I'm trying to think which cards have been a liability so far, and honestly Ashiok hasn't looked great, which is a shame because I've just ordered 2 in real life. But worse things have happened, they're not that expensive. I just wanted to see what happens if an opponent accidentally casts Escape Shift into them, or cracks a Sanctum of Ugin, or, you know, Chord of Calling or whatever. I've had an unhealthy infatuation with Shadow of Doubt for years, and this is basically Shadow of Doubt attached to an annoying wanker, so obviously I love it. Easy mull, dodgy keep, put the 5-drop away, and obviously we're just going to opt on turn 1, probably off of a Hallowed Fountain, desperately trying to hit a land. A fetch land specifically would be the best. What's the opponent up to? Jund or a graveyard deck or a Mardu deck? Okay, well we have to cast Opt. I don't care which spell they take, but if I have a land, they can't take it. So that's all that matters. Wow, okay. Punished. They probably take the Logic Knot. It's any good card. Unless they're really worried about something else, like they don't want me to gain life, they need to search later, they're planning on playing 3 things with the same name, etc. Or if they've got some X ones. But yeah, Logic Knot they took, which is good because it makes sense. It's the most logical take. Come on, come on. Cool. It's not perfect, but it is land. Quite far behind. Assuming their hand is functional, I don't know that. Just looks like Jund. This should be a true test. Jund is a fairly equal matchup. Okay, I'm going to Helix that thing. Or, if I get a land... No, okay. They would have known that was coming. They would have expected it. They would have been, what's the word, comfortable with that fact. So, weirdly enough, Jund is one of the matches where struggling for lands to begin with, as long as it doesn't go on so long that you're just fucked, is actually fine, because spells matter. This is like a Liliana. Yeah. My best card here is Cryptic Command. Cryptic Command is very good against Liliana because you can do things like when they plus Liliana, because Jund players want to empty their hand when they're using Liliana. You can allow them to do that, and okay, good. When they, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is when they have 0 cards in hand, and then they plus Liliana, you bounce it with Cryptic, and then they have to discard it. Good way to actually deal with it long term. Although Detention Sphere is nice as well. Knock yourself out, opponent. I assume they take Detention Sphere. I would. They do seem to be trying to empty their hand, so I might get to do my trick. It's not really a trick, it's a known thing. They're probably going to plus Lily. Obviously I'm gambling on drawing a land next turn, which is a gamble. It's a massive gamble. Let's get a look at these. They might even be playing around that trick. They might know about it. Okay. Well, the good news is we're covered if they go for like a Ren and 6 or a Lily Last Hope or something. The bad news is we didn't draw the land, so we don't get to do the trick. Yeah. Alright. Well, the good news is it's only a 3-2, and we're on 20. Because the Abrupt Decay is worse than nothing. Okay. I have genuinely been like in worse spots against Jund. I think this is fine. We top deck really well, so do they. So it's like a Jund mirror. It turns out to be nobody has anything, and whoever top decks best wins. Land. All right, perfect. Oh, hang on. They can ultimate that. So I think what I have to do is not even sure. I'm not sure. I'm going to hope they get greedy. Nice. They played into... Oh no, they've got a card in hand. Fuck. Okay, well. See what they discard. They discarded Lily. Well, that's ominous because it means the cards are better. So that could only be bad. What have we? Another one? Another one. Okay. And they're going to plus because we're both empty-handed. And I'm going to draw a relevant spell. Ooh, Oh, that's irritating. Costs too much. It's such a good card. It's such a good card. Why can't you cost 4 to... Well, if it cost 4, it wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be even close to okay. I hope their last card in hand is so good they don't want to plus Liliana, but they've no targets for it. Okay, no, they've got plenty going on. Alright, I'll lose my Teffers then. Which means I'm probably losing this game. I don't know how I win from here. Maybe an Electrolyze would be a good start. That's so irritating. That's so irritating. Okay. Come on, Chris. We need these. We need these. We need this. And this. And we definitely don't want a 2-for-1 ourselves against Jund. We... Nah, Teffers is good. They can actually blow up D-Sphere, which most people can't. It's tough. Oh. Snapcaster is amazing in the matchup unless they have... What's his name? Scavenging Ooze. Isn't very scientific. That's what we're going with. Yes, I would like to play first. I would love to keep this hand. Got Opt to dig for lands. We've got Purge and Electrolyze to deal with stuff. We've got top end. This is looking good. Come on, opponent. I want you to play fast now. I think I'm in a good spot. You can go. Probably get hit with a discard spell if they kept to 7. Discard. Okay, they didn't. Discard spells, I think, are the best thing they have against me. Land. Cool. Perfect. We are all set now. We've got the lands we require. We've got Purge for... Like, say they drop a Ren and 6 or whatever, they're going to get their Maya back, but that's it. I mean, it's still a 2-for-1, but... So I'm assuming Overgrown Tomb, Ren and 6 would be my guess, although it could be... They've got a myriad of good 2s. It could be Goyf, it could be Ooze. It's a Goyf. It's an annoyingly big Goyf. Okay. Well, I'll take 2 for the time being until we get a proper solution. I mean, Teffer's shuffling it is a solution because you can put it in and then use a field or something like that. Ren happens. Oh, I should not have. Because they don't get... That's a sorcery, so I should have purged in response. That was really bad. I gave them a land for no reason. Fuck's sake. Although it was really bad from them. Like, when you have a Planeswalker to activate, you should always do it. I've seen people do stuff like play a Liliana of the Veil before combat, go to combat, and the Liliana gets bolted and they've not used it and stuff like that, which is just... a travesty. So let's see what they've got. It's fairly evenly poised, I would say. Both players have got decent stuff going on. Bloodbraid or Lily? Bloodbraid, sure. Okay. No, hang on. It's irritating that that resolves first because they're probably going to take my Electrolyze. They might just take my Snapcaster Mage. Both are excellent here. They take the Snap. Okay. Yep, you've got that. Killer. So we just want to draw a land. Oh, we've got a land. I missed that. So yeah, Tethys is coming down next turn. He's going to oust the Tarmogoyf. Unfortunately, we can't really protect it against, like... They could just go something like... They could go something like Ren and 6, shoot it, and that would be really annoying, but it is what it is. If they go Bloodbraid, attack it down, that would be annoying also. That might be them clearing away for Bloodbraid, it might just be that they've not got a lot in their hand. If we get to untap with Tethys, I'll be surprised but happy. Okay, cool. This is great. So we're doing this because it denies them a draw, basically. They're going to get to eat something. I don't care. Let's pop these out. Okay, let's have these two. And then I'm going to basically be tapping and drawing before combat, unless they try and cast a spell before combat, in which case I'll counter and tap. Leaving up white in case we draw path. Would be lovely to have a chance to cast a path. That's still good. There's 2 creatures in the bin, so got to be a little bit careful, but no, we don't. Okay. Yep, I will discard my veto. Oh, I just realised. So let's get the Lily dead. Oh, this will add Planeswalker to the bin. That was irritating. I wanted priority to use my mana, because now they've got enough green, they don't have to do anything. yeah, that's really, really frustrating because, again, it's one of those where if I know how to use the interface, like in real life, here obviously they just go for the eat 2 creatures plan. Okay. That was a bit extreme. They could have just eaten 2 things. They obviously realised that stopping me gaining life would win them the game. So there we go. We got a 3 and 2. Arguably, both losses were undeserved, I would say. But, you know, tough shit is what my father would say. So there you go. It was a fun league. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be playing more, probably with slightly revised deck lists over the next couple of weeks as I do my prep. So thanks for watching. See you next time.